some of the teams that are going to be left scratching their head in terms of being quarterbackless this offseason going to be very interesting. Hey, but at least LSU's not in that situation. At least LSU has their guy. At least Old Nussmeier returned, and now you're not left scratching your head. And you could potentially be doing this. Got Nola Rogers in the chat saying LSU will make a college football playoff with this roster, and it's going to be a 12-team playoff, kind of boosting them into that role. I think the 12-team playoff, it makes it a lot easier for a lot of people, Ohio State included, and we'll get that. We'll get to that in a little bit. I've got a couple of things up my sleeve for that one. Here's what I think. I think LSU could potentially be a serious college football playoff contender next season. There's going to be some things that have to shake up, right? Let me read you what these national championship odds are at. Your top four in this order: Ohio State, Texas, Georgia, Oregon. LSU is all the way down at number 9, plus 2,000. Those odds are tied with Clemson. For our guy Blanche was in the chat, he'd be hyped because I'm going to circle back to a comment that he made about a week ago, maybe even not even a week ago. I think that the Clemson game is going to be the most influential for LSU season. Now, I know it's week 1, and I know we've seen for years, half a damn decade at this point, LSU start the season 0-1. You obviously can pull yourself out the mud. We've seen them do it. It makes it incredibly difficult. It doesn't mean because it's possible that it's going to happen, nor that it's going to be the most efficient route for this team to actually show what they're capable of, what their potential is, finally be able to grow past all these, horrible moments that we've been seeing. If you lose to Clemson, a team that you're tied with at number 9 in these national championship ranks at plus 2,000, I'd imagine those odds plummet. I'd imagine the morale plummets, and I'd imagine LSU's probably in quite a sticky situation here. And let's talk about just the overall odds on the Clemson game potentially. It's obviously not out yet, but I mean, let's just look at these factors, right? Let's look at the factors. Like we just said, LSU's on damn near, 5-year opening game losing streak. They're on the road. Clemson's not, just a shitty team. They just won their conference. Dabo Swinney's got enough talent. I mean, you're talking about a K Klubnik. We're talking about some of the returning production that we're going to be able to kind of witness here. Like Bo Knows is in the chat talking about playing a second time in the playoffs potentially. He's saying he's going as far as to saying they're going to have a damn rematch at the end of the year. Well, the first thing that's popping into my head with this opening game is the fact that this is the first time you're seeing these teams play since a national championship. Nothing has stayed the same on either team but Dabo Swinney. I doubt this game means enough to Dabo Swinney where he's going to put a chip on his shoulder and really stick it to LSU fans, but it would mean something to a competitive coach who, quite frankly, might be on the latter end of that slope that championship coaches go on. I mean, when you're climbing to your peak, and then all of a sudden the success isn't sustained anymore, and now you're all the way on that downward crescendo, I think Dabo Swinney could be there. And what helps him kind of, slow down that skid all the way to the bottom? Probably beating LSU at home. Probably, evening up that little series that's been keeping you up at night, I'd imagine. From an odds standpoint, I would guess Clemson a small favorite, 1 to 3 point spread. LSU would probably be walking in as an underdog, very, very small. But I think it's going to be huge if you can get a victory against the ACC champs on the road. And I think, quite frankly, the morale might be dead without it. And I mean, yeah, you could turn it around. Like we said at the beginning of this segment, you could somehow, some way stay optimistic and shape out the rest of the season as you have. But if LSU's looking to stand in a new image, in a new role, in a new spot in college football and be respected and have people actually, have the proper opinions on the team feels as if they're ready to compete. The team feels as if, they're championship material. Not a lot of people share that opinion. And the only way you can get everybody to unanimously agree on that opinion is to start winning games. And in week 1, if you start with Clemson on the road, I feel like that'd be one of the bigger opportunities for you. And you got a lot of pieces that are playing in your favor. Harold Perkins is going to come back and get his full last season. A lot of people were worried when he went down with that ACL injury that was it for Harold Perkins at LSU, that was his last snap, that he's going to be, an NFL superstar. Now, obviously, he had other plans, and he's here to end out on top, and I think that's going to be a big boost. I think that mindset, pair him with someone like Whit Weeks as well, and who knows what else you got on that defense, you're going to be in a completely different situation. Got a lot of new weapons as well, a lot of new depth, and it begs the question, is this LSU's best team under Brian Kelly? Is this Brian Kelly's best Tiger squad that he's had through his 4 years here? It seems like the amount of experience is there. Obviously, you got the talent. In terms of big names, I mean, 2023 might have been, your biggest chance. Three of those guys on your offense are half of the offensive or half of the rookie of the year candidates in the NFL for that matter. I think the biggest jewel in the crown, the biggest feather in the cap, the biggest thing that LSU and Coach Kelly can quite frankly be proud of or be comfortable with is the fact that you got Garrett Nussmeier returning. Quite frankly, what's going to help you get into a playoff contention conversation? Garrett Nussmeier's play. What's going to help you get into a spot where LSU is going to be able to push past teams that, have normally pushed past them? It'll be getting number 13 into that Heisman conversation, getting him comfortable, getting him, used to the people that you added around him. If you look at the list of college football's top quarterbacks, I wrote out who I thought was on it. I got Nuss at number 2. I think Nuss is the second best quarterback in the entirety of college. There's only one person that I could potentially put ahead of him, just in a sheer terms of potential, sheer terms of the experience that he's got and the breakthrough ability that he also possesses as well. And that number one guy would be Arch Manning. Other than that, I don't know many quarterbacks that I would put ahead of number 13. And that's not even saying that number 16 from Texas could be over number 13. You never know how the season plays out. There's only a handful of other guys. Cade Klubnik, he's also got some of the experience. He's kind of in a good system, got a little bit of comfort going. North Sellers, I feel like that's a little more of a question mark. Obviously, health's going to play a key role, but I think he's very mobile. I think he's very explosive, and I think he's going to be a huge asset. Same thing with DJ Lagway. Dog. Absolute dog. I think he's going to have a nice season. And then I got another huge question mark, quite frankly. Carson Beck. It can go one of two ways. I mean, obviously, he wants his presence to be felt. Obviously, he came this close to realizing a dream and going to the NFL draft. And it just, quite frankly, wasn't enough. What he did wasn't, promising enough for a franchise to take that shot, take that risk, if you will, and put Carson Beck in that franchise quarterback role. So instead, he goes to Miami, gets a little bit more cheddar. And now, is he going to be able to keep his claim as one of the top college football quarterbacks? I think he could be on the latter end of it, maybe more towards that top 10. I'm not sure if Carson Beck has a breakout year, but then again, you never know. You never know with the system. You never know with the pieces. You never know with just the overall location. If you love where you're playing and you love how you're feeling, you're probably going to play better. What Coach Prime say? Look good, feel good, play good. It's the same situation. You never really know how it's going to play out, and you never really know, quite frankly, what you're getting here.